Say hi. We're getting ready for a shoot. Want to say hi to everybody? Oh, you like that setup, don't you? Thanks for the umbrella, guys. Capone loves it. Hey friendlies, it's Carolyn and welcome back to my amazing and beautiful and wonderful RV life. Today I am shooting a video from Valley of the Gods in Utah. I've been here for several days now and it's quite, as you can see, a pretty awe-inspiring place. Just another wonderful stop on my adventures of my RV life. And speaking of which, today is another video in the series celebrating my first year on the road. And when I shot my anniversary video a couple weeks ago, I said that I would be doing videos throughout the month, kind of a year in review. And today I have what I hope is a fun video for you. I have 9 fun facts about my first year on the road. But I also, of course, always want to make it somewhat of a learning experience. So I've added tips for each of the 9 facts. So I'm going to go through just some of the statistics and some of the number geeky stuff, I guess, about, not necessarily geeky, but some of the fun stuff about my travels in the last year. And for each one of those, I'm going to give you a tip, something that I hope will help you on your travels, whether you're living full-time in an RV or you like to camp or travel in an RV, or maybe just some fun, interesting things too. And in the process, I'm also going to be answering some of the questions that you ask me. So I've got the umbrella here for shade for Capone and also for my laptop because this was a lot. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. And you subscribe, I'm not sure which side it's on. There's a little red button that says subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel now for more fun and adventures, travels, things that I learn along the way, experiences, fun, interviews. There's been all kinds of fun and I hope interesting things that I have been able to share with you on my adventures over the last year. So subscribe now and stay with us for the next year. Okay, are you ready for the first 9 fun facts and tips from my first year of full-time RV living? Fact number 1, 12,000. What do you think that is? I traveled over 12,000 miles in my first year of living on the road, and that equals, this is going to be hard. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to keep looking at my laptop because this was a lot of information. That equals 1,500 tanks of gas. And I get about 7 to 8 miles to the gallon in big old Matilda. And so my tip on that fun fact is for saving gas mileage, whether you're driving a car or a giant RV. And the one thing that I have learned to do is to make sure my tire pressure is always where it's supposed to be. I'm getting tune-ups and oil changes on a regular basis to make sure that that helps my gas mileage. And one of the things that I learned in researching this video, I do put some research into my videos, is that something as simple as changing your air filter can improve your fuel economy up to 10%. And I got that from a KOA blog that they wrote about saving gas mileage on a big RV. So that was fun fact number 1. I drove 12,000 miles and went through about 1,500 gallons of gas. Fact number 2. I stayed in 12 different national forests and 13 different BLM lands. So BLM, for those of you who don't know and haven't been watching, stands for Bureau of Land Management. And that's a total of 25 different public lands that I have stayed in absolutely free. So most BLM and national forests allow free dispersed camping. So if you want to look up a national forest or a BLM land, look for dispersed camping. And most public lands do allow dispersed camping up to 14 consecutive days, and then you need to move to maybe a different district. You need to go away for 10 days or 7 days or 14 days or a month and then come back. So if you're interested in finding free places to camp, just look at the National Forest or the BLM website where you want to go. So that was fun fact and tip number 2. Fun fact number 3, I visited 4 different national parks and I camped in 1. And if I can remember the national parks, Joshua Tree National Park, Grand Canyon National Park, Oh my gosh, I can't remember any of the other ones. I'll have to put it in a I have those notes somewhere. I'll have to put it in a caption of the different national parks because I'm sure some of you are going to ask the national parks. So the tip on the national parks, there is not dispersed camping allowed in, as far as I know, any national park. So national parks have a lot of rules and regulations, and that's part of the reason I don't like staying in national parks. A little bit of a rebel and I like my freedom, but you can get a national park pass, and I bought mine when I went to Joshua Tree in December, and it's already paid for itself. I think it was $79 or $80. It gets you free admission to national parks and discounts on camping, either within the national park or campgrounds like state recreation areas, etc., like the one I stayed at in Utah at Lone Rock, discounts on campgrounds run by the National Park Service. So that was fun fact number 3. Fun fact number 4, I stayed in one national preserve, and that was Mojave National Preserve in Southern California. I stayed at the ghost town, Gott's Ghost Town, outside of, in Mojave, in Southern California, and I stayed in one wildlife refuge, and that's Kofa National Wildlife Refuge outside of Quartzsite, Arizona, one of my favorite places. And the tip on that is that there are 20 national preserves in 20 there are 20 national preserves in 10 states, and there are wildlife refuges in nearly every single state. And some of them, but not all of them, do allow dispersed camping. So that's another resource for you. National wildlife refuges and national preserves are other places. If you have one nearby and you want to go camping for free and kind of get away from it all, those are 2 other resources that you can explore for getting away from RV parks and campgrounds and state parks and the crowded places if you're like me and kind of like to get away from it all. The next fun fact is that I visited 7 state parks and national recreation areas. So I visited 7 state parks and national recreation areas, and I stayed in 6 of them. One of them I just visited, which was Smith Rock State Park in Oregon, and they don't have camping. So the tip there is that many states offer passes for state parks. So if you want to live in an RV, or you just travel in an RV or like to camp, state park passes can be a really good, inexpensive way to do that. And so check with the state that you want to visit or the state that you're in to see what is covered under the state park pass. I know California had one that I looked into. It was pretty expensive though. I think it was like $180. And to me, it wasn't worth it in California because I knew I wouldn't be staying. But state park passes are another really great resource if you want to camp an RV on the cheap and save some money. The next fact is that of all of my travels in 25 public lands and state parks and national parks, over the last year, I've only stayed in 9 campgrounds. And that's by choice. I prefer to be out away from everything and to get closer to nature. That was my whole intent, really. My whole reason for living in an RV is I wanted to be closer to my church and where I find my spirituality and my peace, which is nature. And so that has only been 9 campgrounds that I have stayed in. So the tip there is, again, if you're looking for an inexpensive way to live in an RV or a van or a car or whatever your situation is, there are tons of public lands that you can stay at absolutely free. Sure, you're going to have to move every couple of weeks, but you can look at the rules and figure out how to make that work for you. But just because you want to live or travel in an RV or van or motorhome or whatever doesn't mean you have to be locked into campgrounds and RV parks. A lot of people, that's not for everybody. A lot of people love that and they travel from state park to state park, and that works for them, and that's great. But for a lot of people, we do like to get away from it all and explore different areas. Fun fact, the next fun fact, and I've lost count, I don't know which number I'm on, and I put this question out to my Facebook community. How many different camps do you think I have had in all the moving and all the places that I've seen over the last year? How many camps do you think I've had? Drum roll, please. And I don't know off the top of my head who the winner is, but I think someone on Facebook got it exactly right. I have had 95 camps over the last year. What that boils down to, I think I did the math, that's about 3.8 nights per camp. So yeah, I've moved around quite a bit in my first year, and a lot of that was the first few months and staying close to the Bay Area. A lot of stealth camping that includes staying in front of friends' houses, and the stealth camping and campgrounds, and staying in town close to the Bay Area the first few months. I do hope that this year that number will go down, and my average stay is going to be longer. I do like to be in one place a week, 10 days. That gives me the opportunity to kind of get, clean and just kind of get situated. When I'm moving around a lot, things are, things are up in the air. You're traveling. And so basically I'm traveling and working and traveling and working and traveling and working. And I do like being in one place a little bit longer. So hopefully that'll change in the next year. The next fun fact, guess how many days I have spent in auto repair shops? Not such a fun fact. 23. Almost, 3 weeks. 23 days I have spent in auto repair shops. And so what's the tip on that? The lesson on that? I shared that a couple of times in different videos. Get your RV inspected before you take it on the road, and do regular maintenance so that you know what you're getting into. When I set out to live this RV life, being stuck in auto repair shops was not part of that vision, but it's been part of my reality. And what do? You go with it. Hopefully this year it won't be quite that. Let's see if we can cut that number by at least a fourth this year. All right, we'll check back next year and see if I was able to get that down to 5 or fewer. All right. Wow, I'm almost done already. So I guess this is number 9. The last fun fact is Capone and I have had 3 trips to the vet, and I talked in another video about that. He had an eye infection in Sisters, Oregon, so I had to go to the vet twice there and once in Walla Walla, Washington, and he was able to get well, and we dealt with the situation, and he's doing great. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I'll have to turn the camera here in a second and show you that. But yeah, so three trips to the vet for Capone. And the tip there is to always carry all of your pet's medical records, your shot records, to make sure, every vet is going to want to see them. So I have a home vet. Well, I used to have a home vet, and they had all his records, and so I carried all those with me, his immunizations, his rabies information, and every time I go to a new vet and he gets a new shot, I get a new printout. So it's a lot easier just to have all that information with you when you walk into a new vet. So that's my tip there. All right, so that's it. That's the rundown of my first year. 12,000 miles I traveled. I stayed in 25 different national public lands areas, and I visited 4 national parks. I visited a national preserve and a national wildlife refuge. I visited 7 state parks. This is kind of cool. Wow, when I look at it like this, I've gotten to see a lot of really great stuff and experience a lot of really wonderful places. And that's 95 different camps I've had over the last 12 months, or 3.8 stays per camp. And I've spent 23 days in auto repair shops. We're going to improve on that drastically in the next year. And 3 trips to the vet for Capone and I. Okay. That is a rundown of some fun facts about my first year of full-time RV living and my first year living on the road. I hope you found that kind of fun, just to kind of see what it might be like for a nomad to live on the road. And if you're thinking about living on the road and you want to travel, what you might expect or what you can plan around or do differently. And I hope the tips helped you too and gave you some things to think about, whether you're going to be a full-time RVer or whether you just like to travel. And there you have it. Another session of my first year on the road in review, and I hope you found it interesting and helpful. And as always, be happy, be free, choose love over hate first, always, and maybe look for the good instead of the bad, and just be kind. All right, I'll see you all next time. Capone and I say goodbye and thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.